I'm a master's student at Faculty of Computer Science and Technology of National University of Zaporizhzhia Polytechnic. I would like to present to you my scientific work, research and development of a mobile application with an invasive glucometer for patients with diabetes. The work is devoted to study to self-diagnosis of patients with diabetes and the development of telemedicine in Ukraine. Diabetes has one of the leading places in the world in the terms of medical and social significance. There were 422 million people worldwide suffer from diabetes in 2020. Usually the diabetes diagnosis is done in the clinical or hospital, but in the pandemic conditions, visits to the clinical are not recommended. So measuring instruments at home became a necessity. And today, the general issue is communication between a doctor and client remotely. I mean remote thing like how the doctor can fetch information about patient's health, or how he can give recommendations, or how the patient can ask for help remotely. Therefore, the development of mobile applications that will allow a patient with diabetes to independently measure blood sugar using a non-invasive glucometer, keep statistics, extract blood sugar data for the selected period, and send the data to the doctor for consultation is an urgent task. My studies have shown that some software tools have already been developed to help diabetics control their blood sugar. They all have advantages and disadvantages, and their main function is to keep a self-controlled diary. An analysis of functionality and features of the implementation of software solution that already existed show that program One Touch has more advantages than other, but unfortunately it isn't a cross-platform application, only for iOS. This analysis shows that there are two main types of glucometers, non-invasive and invasive glucometers. I paid my attention on non-invasive glucometers. They measure glucose levels by methods that do not require direct contact with blood. To do this, various technologies are used: optical, wave radiation, analysis of sweat, and so on. That is why a lot of experts believe that such glucometers are the future. Because they do not require constant finger piercings. The researchers have shown that there are only few companies in the world that have made progress in the development of non-invasive glucometers. I reviewed Knoga and Glucowise. The first is Knoga. To test the patient must place this finger in the device for 40 seconds. It uses LED's light, patented algorithms, and huge amount of data. The device analyzes the correlation between the signal and bioparameters to obtain glucose level. Second, Glucowise. This device will be able to take glucose level as often as the user requires. It is positioned to gently squeeze the skin between thumb and forefinger or the earlobe to measure blood glucose levels. Then the device displays the readings in real time on small device screen. Glucowise will be able to used to interact with my application. Doing this, the API documentation with requests and responses from the devices is required. Another way out is to change the firmware, completely replace the software of the device, and then use the Explorer's writing by hand. It is more difficult and requires good knowledge in this area. Unfortunately, we don't have a real device, so the application has been integrated with a virtual glucometer. This system should consist of a mobile application for patients and for doctors who will be able to receive medical data from patients and to give them recommendation. The work principle of the mobile application is quite simple. The user registers or logs in the system. Then it will save blood data using a glucometer that is connected via Bluetooth and will store once in a remote database. Using the platform, this application, the user can change the profile data, maintain blood sugar levels using glucometer, and review the statistic and send it to the doctor. In the future, it's planned to create an application for the doctors, so they will be able to monitor the condition of their patients online. The diagram that shows the general architecture of the system. The application uses the Flutter Blue library to interact with glucometer. This helps to connect glucometer to encode and decode the data received from glucometer.
Sorry, Dasha. Yes, okay.
Yes, next. As I said, the mobile application will connect to the glucometer via Bluetooth. After connection, the user measures blood sugar and sends the data to the application. If there is no connection, the glucometer will notify the user and ask him to connect to the device. Then the data will send to a remote database. If it is necessary, the user will be able to send statistics to the doctor via email. To develop the mobile application, I use cross-platform framework Flutter and the Android Studio. Firebase I used as a remote database. On the page, you can see the main screen of the program and the process of finding and connecting to the device via Bluetooth. To enter to an account, the user must register or log in. I think that in the future, it is possible to add login using only social media. I'm sure it will be more convenient. To receive statistics or watch diagnostics, the user select the appropriate menu item on the home screen. On the diagnostic screen, the user can see statistics for the last 7 days. For now, the graph shows the average blood sugar by date. To send statistics to a doctor, the user uses appropriate button. The scientific novelty of the work is that method of remote monitoring of patients with diabetes has been further developed. The practical value of the work is that the developed software allows diabetics to keep statistic, process data, and send it to the doctor. In the future, it's planned to create an app for doctors so they will be able to monitor the condition of their patients online. For now, only an automatically generated letter with the patient's data has been implemented, but in the future, the application will help doctors to have access to a common database of their patients, their data. Thanks for your attention.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Thank you very much, Daria, for your presentation. Are there any questions? If not, I will start. Someone want to ask a question? Inga, it's you?
Позволите, да?
Александр Федорович.
Дарья, будьте добры, скажите, пожалуйста, чья разработка глюкометра неинвазивного КНОГа, правильно я произношу? Кто производитель? Насколько точен этот прибор относительно обычного инвазивного глюкометра? И в случае чего, где его можно приобрести?
So the
Uh,
question, sorry, I will translate. There are Albert Reitel and Peter Aras here who are not speaking Russian. So I will quickly translate the question. So the question was about the company which produced the glucometer and the accuracy of this glucometer. Daria.
Yes, of course. Knoga is developed by Israel company. I researched about this device a lot and I figure out that this device is the first real device that I can use for measuring blood sugar, non-invasive method. So I think it's yes, it's the first real, not real. I think real. How to say? But everyone can buy, but it's very sorry, I forget this word. Expensive. It's very expensive device. Yes, it's developed by Israel. Did I ask any question?
Let me comment. Unfortunately, we have not this real device, and Daria used the virtual model of this device.
Yes, you asked about
for her investigation. She created virtual model and used for her work.
Yes, it is.
So, any other questions? There, Inga.
May I ask you one small question, not about this device? Yes, it is a very difficult problem in medicine. Yeah, it's really a big work, and it's you're absolutely right. It's very expensive, unfortunately. But what do you think about? I have other question. How do you think about? Is it good if the patient is not to have a possibility? To have a personal contact with a doctor only via internet or only via database, so on. What do you think about this point? Not about only a patient with diabetes.
Yes,
patient as well. Yeah.
I think for now, when quarantine is everywhere, pandemic is everywhere, it's very important to for doctors. Do not have a lot of meetings with the patients because this is very, very dangerous for them. Yes, of course, it's very important to diagnose patients offline, but in this situation, in these conditions, it's very important to, if we have a chance, we have opportunity to have a remote of online diagnosis. It's we can, but we can to do it. But it's if a doctor have to check patients offline, of course we cannot avoid it. So I think if a doctor can check a patient remotely, he must do it in this situation. So,
okay, thank you.
So I think this device can used not only for diabetics. It can be I know for another chronic disease.
Okay, conditions. Yeah. Okay.
Conditions. Yes.
Thank you very much. Are there any other questions?
Could I ask questions, dear Galina Vladimir?
Yes, please.
Good morning, Dasha. Tell me about source of your dataset information about your glucometer. Your dataset, source dataset about information about glucometer.
Can you repeat the question? I didn't understand.
Source of dataset for your realization.
Yes, of course. I research how what levels of for diabetics or what levels blood sugar for diabetics, what blood sugar for I don't know, usual for another people, and I figured out that it's about from 4 to 4 mole per liter. I don't know. So I want to say that I just when I started to work on this work, I just put the data by myself. But as I said, we planning to use virtual glucometer. So this glucometer will be used like as a data source, like I don't know, and this data will be forget this word, process on the device and in the database. Did I have I asked one question?
Thank you very much.
Question.
Thank you very much. I have a question. Can you open slide 5, please?
Yes, of course. Yes?
No, it's still at my, yes, 5. Yes, so here you show different applications. As I understand, in the end, there will be your application. Like, can you tell what it will be, or it already exists? So on these indexes, what about your application? How it will be in comparison with these 3 you put on this slide?
Okay, of course, this application is very simple and didn't.
But your application, like for example, first convenience and simplicity of the user interface. My application is plus and etc.
Yes. It's very very simple to how to use. I think about 5 points in this table
Alexander
is
Федорович, вы подключайтесь.
implemented in my application. Its convenience, its ability to display graphs, the notification didn't implemented, have not been implemented, 3 version, and offline mode, cross-platform. So about 5 points of this table have been implemented. Yes?
So thank you very much. Generally, are there any other questions or?
Yeah, I have questions. Sorry if I lost some part of discussion. The question is next. Why did you limit it only one type of glucometer? It's non-invasive. Now in using 99% glucometers is invasive.
Yes, of course. We just we know this not invasive glucometers are developing for nowadays. So I think in future we can we will be able to have access to these devices, and I hope we can. I will be able to use this glucometer, not invasive glucometer, for my project.
Yeah, because you limited the area of using your application very small area now, because you do not use most of them. And second question, when you send statistics to doctor, is possible to make some graphs for doctor maybe in the letter?
Yes, of course. It's just it's generate a simple letter for Gmail, And you can add information to this letter.
Yeah, I told about automatical generation of
yes, of course.
some graph.
Yes, I can. I think yes, it's possible.
It will be nice.
Dasha, to finish the discussion, what do you think, really, what do you think? What better for patients, invasive or non-invasive glucometer?
Of course.
What is the future? What is the future? Because we are discussing now future. Scientific work is aimed to our future. What do you think?
Sorry, Angelika Vladimirovna, we will be thrown in any moment now. It's less than 1 minute. So Daria, please quickly, and then please
only yes, quickly.
Okay, I think of course non-invasive, but unfortunately it's we don't have a lot of possibility to have access to these devices. Unfortunately, yes, of course, now invasive glucometers is worldwide, but I think in the future, yes, non-invasive glucometer, this is future, yes.
It from other metallic materials and artificial polymers. Despite all the benefits of magnesium, there are problems that complicate its widespread use in osteosynthesis. In practical, this applies to the insufficient medical properties of chemical pure magnesium, which is very brittle and weak to break. These disadvantages can be eliminated by using magnesium-based alloys. Doping of magnesium will increase its mechanical property as well as reduce the rate of biodegradation. After analyzing, found that magnesium, zirconium, neodymium alloys are practically not inferior in mechanical property to magnesium, aluminium, zirconium system, and the absence of toxic aluminium in their composition makes them the most promising material for the production of biosoluble implants for osteosynthesis. Therefore, we decided to develop a new biodegradable magnesium alloy. For achieving this task, we select the most suitable alloy in the terms of mechanical characteristic and have carried out its optimizing. Firstly, the mathematical modeling of the experiment was carried out according to plan to the third. After determining the significant regression and decoding coefficient, we obtained the regressions equation for strength and plasticity. Then, basing on the equations, we made a diagram that allowed us to determine the optimal ratio of components. As a result of optimization, we have the maximum set of mechanical properties, sigma B 255 megapascal, and plastified like 4.1%. Was obtained, which corresponds to the following content of following elements. Zirconium like 1.2%, neodymium something like 3%. At the production facilities of motor speech, JSC experimental implants were made from the developed alloy for their preclinical testing on animals, which were carried out on the basis of Zaporizhzhia State's Medical University. It was found the product of biocorrosion of magnesium alloys do not have a toxic effect on body tissues as evidenced by the absence of signals of endogenous intoxication. The rates of biocorrosion of experimentally implants is equal to the rate of fusion of animal bones. Thank you for attention. It's all.
Thank you very much for your presentation. And are there any questions from my colleagues? So, yes.
Maybe I could raise a question, Alexander. So this kind of implants that you envisage to make from the magnesium alloy is not what you presented in one of the first slides, because that looked to me like permanent implants. But because you gave on the slide, I don't know the number because they're not numbered. In the beginning, the rate of the degradation of the material in the after time, that it stops then, now see it here, after 3 months, and what happens next? Or you don't have to, here you had something like this. So you see that the mechanical properties is going down. You start from 1 month, you have 178 megapascal, and after 3 months, there's only 115 left. So probably it will go down after it even more. So what's the idea then about the implants? Leave them there until they're completely dissolved, or they are extracted, or...
Вам надо перевести, Александр, вопрос? Вы поняли?
Ну,
То есть вы привели деградацию материала за 3 месяца, а что происходит дальше? То есть...
In the next time, it's... Можно на русском?
Я буду стараться перевести.
Ну, дальнейшее исследование не имеет смысла.
The further investigation doesn't have any sense. Why?
Так как консолидация, ну, то есть заживление перелома происходит в среднем за 3 месяца.
As the bone recovering generally is within 3 months.
The implant just stays in the bone until it's completely gone.
То есть, соответственно, получается, что имплант находится в кости до тех пор, пока полностью не растворится, так ведь? Или нет?
Ну, наш материал, да.
The material, yes.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Any other questions? Maybe I can ask a question then. I will ask then it in Russian. И, может быть, я упустила. Какая у вас была выборка, которую, то есть вы проводили исследования, да? То есть для какой выборки? Скажите, пожалуйста.
Выборка в смысле пределы, в которых мы исследовали?
Ну, я уже смотрю, на этом слайде, то есть у вас было всего 11 экземпляров вашего, то есть
Ну,
это
по факту 12.
11 экспериментов, да, то есть 12, да?
Ну, да.
И вы их проводили через какие-то промежутки времени или как вы...
Ну, у нас же получается разные составы, и то есть мы их отлили одновременно, и потом проводили параллельные эксперименты.
Тогда
Ну, то есть
вопрос,
потому что
почему вы
внутри
посчитали,
месяца
что
держалось
вам 12 экспериментов достаточно, если у вас разные составы? Вы использовали планирование эксперимента для этого, вы использовали... То есть почему вы
Ну,
посчитали?
собственно, да, вот это, собственно, и есть матрица планирования эксперимента. Мы посчитали самый оптимальный вариант, провели оптимизацию, и после этого уже испытывали...
А критерий оптимизации какой был?
Критериями были прочность и пластичность.
То есть у вас было 2 критерия оптимизации, вы использовали какие-то то есть модели для 2...
Ну, получается, смотрите, мы вывели 2 регрессионные зависимости, после чего...
Регрессионные зависимости для чего? То есть, подождите, давайте вернемся, пожалуйста. То есть, что у нас показывает данная модель? Одна и вторая.
Первая модель показывает зависимость прочности от содержания неодима и циркония.
Так.
И цинка.
А вторая
модель?
Вторая
показывает зависимость пластичности от
А прочность и пластичность между собой никак не связаны, они не коррелируют друг с другом?
Это противоположные несколько характеристики, которые, собственно, обычно, чем выше прочность, пластичность за счет этого страдает. Нашей задачей было, собственно, получить максимально высокие показатели и прочности, и пластичности. То есть, допустим, смотрите, если
То есть надо где-то, грубо говоря, найти точку пересечения, вы ее нашли оптимальную?
Да, вот, смотрите, в дальнейшем я показываю, мы проводили графическую оптимизацию, то есть мы построили 2 плоскости по этим уравнениям, и в точке пересечения, то есть в линии пересечения их, это, собственно, и получается наш сплав, то есть самые высокие показатели пластичности и прочности.
Вы достигли то есть вы смогли произвести сплав с соответствующими характеристиками? То есть это же, я поняла, вы сделали моделирование, правильно? То есть вам потом надо было в результате получить...
Да. Потом мы на предприятии Моторсич проводили плавки, и после испытаний механических у нас получились необходимые свойства, которые мы, собственно, и рассчитали.
То есть были проведены подтверждающие эксперименты, да, что вы получили сплавы с соответствующими характеристиками?
Помимо этого мы еще проводили...
А какое отклонение моделируемых значений от экспериментально полученных значений рассчитывали?
Расчет производился, но в данный момент я вам сейчас не скажу. Сейчас у меня с собой нет таких данных.
То есть отклонение хотя бы примерно не помните? 5, 10, 20, 50% моделируемые и практически...
Там, по-моему, до 5% было отклонение. То есть мы достаточно точно смогли попасть в расчетные.
Угу.
Можно вопрос?
Да, пожалуйста.
Скажите, пожалуйста, а можно ли управлять растворимостью сплава? Это первое. И второе, при деградации...
I will try to translate. So before I was discussing about the accuracy of the models. So this is for Peter and Albert. And we found that accuracy was very high and results was validated. And now Alexander Tarasov is asking about if it is possible to control this dissolving process. I hope.
Yes, solving process. И второй вопрос был у меня. Как идет деградация? Равномерно по диаметру или есть анизотропия? То есть в одном направлении быстрее идет, в другом меньше, из-за того, что сплав имеет различные компоненты.
So, and the second question is about if degradation is going simultaneously in all sides, so something like this.
Равномерность, да, равномерность.
I don't remember this word. Я не помню, как равномерно по-английски.
Equal in different
directions, yes.
Direction, sorry.
Ну, смотрите, управлять скоростью растворения возможности такой нет, потому что, ну, как бы мы разработали сплав, который будет достаточно долго не терять своих свойств внутри организма человека, чтобы обеспечить полное заживление, ну, то есть консолидацию, перелом. То есть сейчас те импланты, которые сейчас используются, титановые, стальные и прочие неметаллические, они изымаются из организма спустя полгода. У нас же
It was not a purpose to control the degradation of the material in this research. Да, дальше.
У нас же материал уже почти полностью растворяется, ну, в зависимости от размера самого импланта, в течение 3 месяцев. То есть 3 месяца он продержался, он обеспечил необходимую фиксацию, и после чего для нас уже не важно, что с ним там, собственно, дальше происходит. Потому что он растворяется, и все компоненты, которые в нем содержатся, они уходят уже по организму. Так как магний основной компонент, он не является токсичным, но и более того, он важен для нормальной работы организма, то есть его растворение этого импланта в организме уже будет идти только на плюс пациенту. По поводу... Можете напомнить второй вопрос, пожалуйста? Вторую часть вопроса.
Равномерность деградации. По
поводу равномерности. Смотрите. В основном данные импланты — это всякие шурупы, которые вкручиваются в кость для того, чтобы фиксировать 2 части, допустим, кости вместе. Они могут неравномерно корродировать из-за того, что какая-то часть импланта в большей мере контактирует со средой организма. То есть что-то больше притирается к кости, что-то больше омывается кровяными потоками и прочим. То есть там, где, допустим, больше контакт с кровью, там коррозия будет быстрее. Но, тем не менее, коррозия рано или поздно полностью пройдет, и весь имплант растворится полностью.
Спасибо.
Можно я маленький комментарий?
Да, конечно, Инга Фридановна.
Я маленькую ремарку, я сознательно на русском. Я понимаю, что ваша работа была написана по мотивам докторского диссертационного исследования Вадима Николаевича, который в пятницу защищается в нашем совете. Я правильно говорю?
Да.
Знаете, почему много вопросов? Потому что работа интересная, потому что труд большой, потому что вы много сделали, вы молодец. Я только об одном хочу попросить вас, что вот знаете, очень тонкая штука человеческий организм. Вот эти шурупы, которые всякие, вы говорите, которые прикручиваются и фиксируются, они, вы знаете, они годами, десятилетиями у некоторых пациентов стоят, которые к нам не приходят их откручивать, как вы говорите. Вот то, что вы эти биодеградирующие импланты ставите, это здорово, это действительно завтрашний день. И за ними надо следить. И не все переломы через 3 месяца, как вы говорите, зарастают. Васкуляризация, ангиогенез и дальше, и что оно, и как оно биодеградирует, и что оно дальше делает. Я о том, чтобы Вот у вас замечательная работа, она сложная, поэтому она вызвала много вопросов. Вы просто нежнее в терминологии немножечко, и все-таки вот не все
Я
вот так,
понял.
как мы иногда представляем капельку, вот иногда бывает иначе. Спасибо, извините.
Спасибо и вам.
Are there any other questions? So Inga just made comments that it is the work of the future. Inga, am I correct? In translation.
Yeah, thank you, yeah.
Something like this.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, thank you very much, Alexander. As there are no any other questions, I will let's go to the bachelor works now. Please close your presentation, Alexander. And Alexander, please close your presentation. So, Alexander Бережной или Дарья Трунова, who is ready from you?
I'm ready.
Okay, so now it is Alexander Бережной with his work.
Just a second. Okay, let's start. Good morning. I am Alexander Berezhnoy, a bachelor student of Faculty of Computer Science and Technology of the National University Zaporizhzhia Polytechnic. Let me present my scientific paper on research and development of software and hardware implementation of video monitoring in medical institutions. The work is devoted to the study of the problem of telemedicine development in Ukraine, as well as the search for hardware and software solution for organization of video monitoring in medical practice. The rapid increase in the number of patients died to the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as the limited number of medical staff, has made it necessary to bring to the healthcare system for the latter technologies that can facilitate the work of medical staff. However, the process required time and considerable financial resource. According to the result of research of Polestar company covering 5 regions of Ukraine, it was revealed that there are a lot of problems with technical equipment of outpatient clinics and connection to quality option internet. In addition, there are open issues related to the big amount of data stored, the technical implementation of remote monitoring and energy consumption. Thus, the topic of work is relevant. It is known telemedicine is a set of action technologies and measures used in provision of medical care using remote technologies. The list of basic telemedicine tools is presented on the slide. Video monitoring is an integral part of every tool. It is the process of remotely observing a scientific object by using video capture and video playback equipment. The goal of the work is research and practical implementation of method and tools of capture and high-quality transmission of the image stream over the internet used in the medical practice. Investigations have shown that today the market offers a wide range of video cameras for monitoring. Digital camera broadcast image directly in digital format. Some cameras of this type have a built-in Wi-Fi adapter, which simplifies the setup and installation of camera by connecting it directly to the internet. The image from digital camera has better quality and resolution than the image from similar analog camera. Considering that the medical needs high accuracy and reliability, digital AP camera are acceptable option for video surveillance despite the pricing policy. When organization monitoring, it is important to choose the type of the connection of the video camera to the internet. It has been found that the wireless connection has a number of advantages. Also, it is important to pay attention to the mobility of components model, to the ability to quickly configure them and easy change position. Therefore, it is advisable to connect the camera using wireless connection. Since the current state of the internet coverage, it is not based in the whole country. It can be concluded the cameras with image compression algorithm are necessary. Investigations have shown that the most popular compression algorithms are MGPEG and H.264. The usage of MGPEG algorithm is recommended because H.264 requires more computing power of the encoders, which affect cost of hardware. To ensure the autonomy and mobility of the model, it is advisable to use a camera with combined power supply, with a large number of change and discharge cycles, without memory effect. The most suitable variant is lithium-ion battery. The analysis of components to be applied to the implementation of the complex has revealed that an important component is the microcontroller module, which should provide the capture and processing of images from the camera and its next transmission on the server. Considering the existing hardware solution, modules based on ESP and AVR microcontroller, SP32 was chosen because its high computing power, wide range, and built-in functionality, relatively low price. The set of hardware components selected on the implementation of the video monitoring system is presented on this slide. The method of user interaction with the video monitoring system is presented on this slide. The number of possible settings is minimized for system development and startup. The ability to install and change the wireless connection camera setting is available only for administration. This solution is aimed at reducing the risk accidental changing or resetting setting and increase the reliability of the system. As a result, the system architecture was developed. The user, through the hardware interface, launches the Concourse, which starts the operation of the camera, processes the image from it, and broadcasts it via the internet, the doctor's computer. The light indication signals the user about the broadcast. It should be noted that if the battery discharges and the camera is turned off, its setting will be saved, and when the power is restored, camera will continue to work successfully. Also, if there are problems with Wi-Fi connection, there is an algorithm by which Complex will try to reconnect. The software part of the Complex was realized using the integrated development environment platform and MGPEG image compression algorithm. The software part of the development system includes static IP address configuration model that makes it easy to connect multiple camera as a single system, model for setting camera parameter, image capture model, image compression model, model for transmit video stream, as well as separate image, which will provide the ability to capture key moment of video consultation. This slide shows the current result of project, namely stages of project implementation, testing at home, testing in our laboratory of remote engineering. Let me conclude. Scientific novelty of the work lies in the fact that the method of video monitoring has been further developed, taking into account the perspective of use in medical practice. Practical value of the result of the work lies in the fact that the implementation of development software and hardware complex will promote the development of telemedicine in Ukraine. In future work, it is planned to add a video monitoring log, ensure storage a backup copy of the video directly on the camera, and expand the capabilities of using the camera in condition in function of complex absent of lighting. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. Albert raised hand. Albert, what is your question?
What I think is very good, the very simple user interface, because patients are usually not IT people. What have been your thoughts on the Wi-Fi connection? Because there, especially if you have security enabled, this might become very complicated. Did you already research on this topic?
Now, Wi-Fi settings set by administration module. At this moment, module developed for using in small medicine laboratory. In Ukraine, it's named Family Doctor. You can you visit to family doctor and can speak with a specialist doctor from Kyiv, from other region. And in this condition, Wi-Fi setting set when install module. In future, when we allow module used for patient at their home, we added some Wi-Fi settings. Some Wi-Fi settings, but now it's not realized.
Okay.
Not realized.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you for your questions. I suppose we already time is for questions finished. Or if anyone else want to ask a question. So if not, thank you very much, Alexander. And we will go to the final presentation for today.
Hello, everyone. My name is Daria Trunova. I am a baccalaureate student of Zaporizhia Polytechnic. And today I'm going to tell you about application development for physical rehabilitation using Oculus Rift. Last year, they were paid a lot of attention on the implementation of the VR in the variety of medical application. One of them is sensory motor rehabilitation. There are still not enough research and real applications which could serve as a virtual medicine assistant when physical communications are limited. This work is very actual, especially in the situation of quarantines and lockdown. So let's start. And rehabilitation areas can be divided into 3 areas. They are medical and physical, psychopathological, and socio-cultural. The first and the main area is aimed at restoring the patient's health through the integrated use of various tools. It is aimed at maximum recovery of impaired psychological functions of the body, and if it's not possible, the development of compensatory and replacement devices. The next one is a psychopathological area. It is aimed at correcting the mental state of the patient and as well as the formation of his attitude to treatment, medical recommendations, and implementation of rehabilitation measures. It is necessary to create conditions for the psychological adaptation of the patient to a new life situation due to the disease. And the last one is socio-cultural rehabilitation. It is aimed at restoring the victim's social value. These tasks are solved not only by medical institutions, but also by social security bodies. Various festive and entertainment events, theaters, museums, and art exhibitions visiting can be organized. Exercise therapy is one of the methods of physical rehabilitation area. It is a set of exercises for rehabilitation and prevention of different diseases. Exercise therapy has no age-related contradictions. Properly selected exercises can and should be used in the treatment of various diseases and injuries. Exercises can be general and special. General exercises have an effect manifested in the activation of all body's function, which promotes recovery, improves emotional state, prevents complication. Special exercises in some cases may have a specific effect on the pathological process. So physical rehabilitation in virtual reality. The use of exercising methods of physical rehabilitation with the introduction of modern technologies significantly accelerates and improves the results of therapies. Virtual reality has recently emerged as a valid addition to conventional therapy by incorporating rehabilitation stages in a novel and low-cost approach. Virtual reality-based therapy can provide a positive learning experience and be engaging and motivating. Studies show that VR can fool the brain, and this is the main idea of VR rehabilitation. If a patient after a stroke can raise a weakened, partially paralyzed arm to a certain level, and this is the limit of his imaginary capabilities, then in virtual reality he can raise it high, repeating after someone on behalf of his avatar. And how exactly does it work? According to doctors, and the neurons of the primary motor cortex are especially activated by such a phenomenon as visual distortion. The virtual image is distorted as well as the real in visual perception. So in fact, the brain is deceived. It is important that this skill is consolidated after learning virtual reality. So the main tools I used in development of my application, it's Unity and Oculus Rift. Oculus Rift is a virtual reality hamlet from Oculus. It is usually used for gaming, user media, or social applications, and also for education and medical goals. Virtual reality hamlet uses such sensors as gyroscope, accelerometer, and magnetometer. Gyroscope is a device which uses the Earth's gravity to help determine orientation. Accelerometer is a sensor of movement in space, and with the help of magnetometer, you can look at the object in virtual reality and holding your gaze on it for a few minutes or seconds, activate it. The next tool is Unity. Unity is a cross-platform game engine developed by Unity Technologies. It's a company in the USA. It uses C# and JavaScript for development. Unity 3D has its own asset store that, and it is very, very comfortable to use because you can download ready-made 3D models of characters and surroundings, textures, and even things like sounds and particle systems. I'm sorry, I don't have any video of my application because my graphics card, there's something wrong with that. But I have some screenshots. So let's take a look at application appearance. With Oculus touch controllers, we can track the position of patients' hands by reading the position relative to the hamlet. Also, using combination of buttons and joysticks, a person can train fine motor skills of hands. Thus, while creating an application, it is necessary to develop such tasks which will involve the manipulation of objects that require a certain position of the hands and are controlled by combinations of buttons. Here you can see that we can interact with some objects. It's not only ball. There are lots of objects like plants, tables, and others. So I decided to create a virtual environment with a large number of objects that can be manipulated in a certain way. For full immersion, it was necessary to create an interesting, pleasant virtual environment. so an innovative training room with a reflection of the requirements for exercises and that performs patients. To complete tasks, the patient needs to move around the area and interact with objects. With each conventional task, the level of avatar grows and opens new interesting objects and opportunities. We can move around the virtual reality with the help of teleportation ray. So that's all. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you for your presentation. Are there any questions?
Yes, I had a question.
Yes, please.
Daria, Daria, in your text you also describe a commercial VR setup called Atilan. So what is the extra in your application, or the difference in your application in comparison to these existing commercial ones?
Okay, Atlan uses the everyday lives, okay, not everyday life situations, but it trains the patient with the help of only oh my god, sorry. Можно я на русском отвечу, а потом видите? Я просто очень сильно... В Атланте там используется только сейчас только взаимодействие с объектами, и таким вот образом тренируется пациент. А у нас еще сделаны задания. Я же не сказала за то, что можно... За то, что мое...
So I will translate while you are thinking about the first part. So in this commercial application, the rehabilitation is done only with the interaction of the objects. And now, Daria, what about your application?
My application is also следит.
Spider.
Spider. The position of hands and head, and there are special exercises that that need patient to move in a special way.
And your application will check
if
it is done correctly or not.
Yes, my application checks if it is correct, and if it's not correct, it shows the patient how to do it better.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Questions is next. Using the virtual helmet, virtual reality helmet is not so easy for healthy people, but for people that brain damaged by a stroke and other things, it can be much hard. What do you think? It's possible to use in such cases, and did you afraid any false such people and getting another problem?
All of these trainings with the Oculus Rift or other virtual reality hamlets are controlled by the medical personnel, and of course, if it's if it is very dangerous for some people to use virtual reality hamlet for rehabilitation, this therapy won't be used.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Maybe I could answer like Angelica answered for her question that we are telling about future. Yes, nowadays it is generally difficult for everyone to work with helmets, but we hope that in future, when it will be like everyday equipment in our everyday environment, it will be easier. And that's why, of course, now it could be used for not impaired people, but healthy people. Yes, for some, not like, so for some simple rehabilitation, but for future it could be improved. Maybe devices will be more friendly. Who knows? Like we hoped that it will be. And then, but now to make those devices more people friendly, yes, we need to work with those which are exist now. So to have some experience, to give feedback and to improve these devices, and so more applications there will be, more friendly it will be in the end. So this is my idea, because in any case it is the future. Yes.
Yes, but I think that much better to use augmented reality, not virtual, because augmented makes some mix from reality and virtual, and maybe it's more easy for brain to understand the situation, position, and so on.
But Hamlet's much more expensive, and we don't have any.
Yeah, but we talk about future.
Yes.
Вопрос можно?
Да, конечно.
Может, я недопонял, вы реально программировали под Unity 3D или нет?
Да.
Программировали. То есть вы использовали C#.
Да.
Вот. И те картинки, которые вы показывали, это результат вашего программирования, разработки, да?
Да, да.
То есть вот сложное помещение достаточно, которое будет показано в презентации, полностью вы разрабатывали.
Да, но я использовала готовые уже материалы, которые есть в Asset Store в Unity. Вот.
И вопрос. Когда создают медицинские приложения, обычно используют математические модели, например, для моделирования положения тела. Вот такого плана работы выполняли? Нет? Пробовали?
В таком сложном ключе еще нет, но это будет...
Это будет магистерская работа, Александр Федорович.
Понятно. Нет, просто
пока что есть расчет положения рук относительно головы.
Так.
Рассчитывается там угол наклона головы. Вот.
Понятно. А зачем это сделано? Вот при использовании виртуальной реальности зачем нужно контролировать положение рук?
Вообще, при выполнении любых упражнений нужно контролировать положение тела для лучшего результата. Не только при реабилитации, просто даже если во время тренировок. Поэтому, особенно во время реабилитации, нужно контролировать именно вот то, как человек выполняет эти упражнения.
Понятно. Ну, еще один вопрос интересный. Скажите, вот когда маску вы одеваете, свой нос видно?
Нет.
Не видно?
Нет.
Не видно. Хорошо, понятно. Спасибо.
Спасибо вам.
So we discussed for Albert and Peter what we have discussed. We have discussed if there were made special models for location of the body, hands, and movement for it. So the new models were not developed, but it was application consists measurement of angle of the head and angle and location of the hands regarding to the helmet. So, and the last question was about if Daria see her nose when she put the helmet, and she answered no. So are there any other questions? So if there are no any other questions, I want to thank for everyone for participating today, especially for students, for their great work, for their motivation, for being so brave to present their work in progress, yes, and to participate in this contest in English, and I hope that all participants will vote for them, and I suppose by the end of the week. Today is already Wednesday, so by the end of the week I will share our results, which we will have after voting with the comments, because each report has so each questionnaire has so each jury member should give feedback as 3 positive and 3 suggestions for improvement. So there are no negative. Yes, we know that because students are great, they are talented, and their work is very progressive for all students. So we can only suggest them to improve something in their work to be more relevant to the market. Yes, to make their applications more relevant for the markets. And Albert is writing that he also thanks for all students for the well done work, and so Peter also. Maybe
Alina.
Yes.
Sorry, I propose to switch on all cameras and make a screenshot for our report about this
event.
Yes, yes.
Very nice suggestion. Oh. Smile. I will, one moment, make one more photo. One moment, I will save this one. And
but we hear video, it's not problem, mate.
Yes, I'm also making video, so maybe we can make smile once more, and then I will find it from video. So, congratulations and great thanks for everyone. And
thank you too.
Thank you for our international guests, Peter and Albert, who found time, despite such early morning in their country. It starts at 8, yes, for you. So thank you very much for participating.
Thank you, and be healthy.
So thank you very much.
I'll stay healthy.
So see you soon at international student contest now with all international teams. So
okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.